Welcome back, YouTube. I went and checked the rivers, and both landings I usually fish at, the tide water is flooded up to the top of the bank. But the wife here took out some chicken she wanted to cook, so I figured I'd get out here in the yard and cook and do a cooking video. So I got out some deer meat, thawed it out and sliced it up. So I think I'm gonna fry up some venison and stuff on the outside, make a pot of brown gravy and rice. So I'm gonna have 2 different stoves going at one time. Cook the venison and stuff on this side because it'll get good and hot. But I'm getting ready to get started. I already got my flour mixture in my bag. So go ahead and get started. Flour this chicken down. And this thing could be Kentucky Fried Chicken. Guess you can call this Southern chicken, because I'm not from Kentucky, I'm from the South. So we could call this Southern Fried Chicken and not Kentucky Fried Chicken, or Junior's Chicken, whichever one you want to call it. But anyhow, we could cook it up. I do this the easy way. I just get a Walmart or a Piggly Wiggly bag, and I give her a good shaking in there in that flour. It look like my pan's getting good and hot there. I know I checked the rivers out, and they up to the, well, I know Pine Tree is up to where you unload the boat at, so it was way too much water. When I had the boat with me, I was gonna check it out and see how the fish was doing, but there wasn't even no need for me to unload the boat. If we don't get too much more water, and maybe by sometime next week, maybe it'll drop some and I can get down there and make a fishing video. But until then, I thought I'd do something outside. I didn't want to be in the house here all day on a Saturday on the weekend here. I thought I'd get outside here and cook something, even though it's hot. Well, we've been having some heavy rains here, heavy thunderstorms lately. And these I don't know if it counts for everywhere, but here in the South, when it gets to August, in South Carolina where I'm at, the old folks used to call it the dog days of summer. And I'm not sure if they have that all over the U.S., but during these dog days, during August, it'll come a thunderstorm nearly every day. It might not rain here, it liable to rain a half a mile down the road and pour down and not rain here. Or it liable to pour down here for 3 hours and you liable to get a mile down the road and it not be rained. It's just according to where they hit at, but it'll rain nearly every day here during August. And heavy thunderstorms, lightning. Now hang on, we could cook up a little something. Now let's flip this chicken over and see how brown she is on that side. Oh yeah. Almost burned that in there a little bit. Only thing about this cooking on this stove here, one stove, the other over there I can't get to get hot enough, and this one here on low will get too hot. There's always something. I have to be careful with this one here not to burn something, and the other over there you can't get it hot enough to get it crispy. But I got this one all the way on low, but have to deal with what you got. Anyhow, I had some a few people asked me on one of the other videos about the Accardo poppers. I'd got these at Walmart, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I stocked up on them. And some of the people was asking me where could they get them at, and I told them I'd got these at Walmart. But I stopped by Wally World yesterday, and I was gonna check them out and get some. And Anyhow, I went in there and the shelf didn't have any of these on there. So if any of y'all, Walmart may have quit selling them. Might have quit selling this brand. They had the bets, but they didn't have these. But if any of y'all out there know where they can get some of these at, or what stores may carry them now, you could leave a comment or something where they can be found at on the video. That would help them out. And since Walmart don't have them, I don't know any other place. Maybe Bass Pro Shop or something, but like me, Bass Pro Shop's 100 miles from where I live, the nearest one. But anyhow, if you know where they can find some, leave a comment. Let's see. Yeah, this panhandle looks done to me. Go ahead and mix some more in the bag before I pull that out of there where the grease won't get too hot in between. Two more pieces of chicken in here. Let's put some deer meat in there with the chicken. And yes, my hands is clean. I washed my hands before I started cooking. Good crispy chicken leg there. Now that'd make a puppy pull a freight train. Put some deer meat in here to go with this chicken. Anyhow, I don't mind cooking on the outside because out here on the outside I can make a mess if I want to, and the wifey can't yell at me, because on the outside I make all the mess I want to, because I'm the man of this yard. And well, when the wife ain't out here. Anyhow, YouTube, I can this one here burn up way high, so but I can regulate the fire under it. All I did was run under there and turn the gas down on the tank down there to where it would go down some. Then I can cook with it how high, how low I want it. I can't get the other stove out the camper to burn high enough, but oh yeah, this chicken here is done here. Let the grease drain off of that a little bit. Good crispy piece of chicken there. And then took up a few pieces of deer meat. Look at that. Anyhow, YouTube, I can this one here burn up way high, so but I can regulate the fire under it. All I did was run under there and turn the gas down on the tank down there to where it would go down some. Then I can cook with it how high, how low I want it. I just can't get the other stove out the camper to burn high enough, but oh yeah, this chicken here is done here. Let the grease drain off of that a little bit. Good crispy piece of chicken there. And then took up a few pieces of deer meat. Look at that. Deer meat here is ready. Some good thick chunks here, good and brown. Good and crunchy. I can feel the crunch when I stick that fork in it. golden brown color. Got one more pan of meat and then we can start on the other stuff there. Alright YouTube, while that last pan there is frying, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rice on. I went there and borrowed a cup of rice from the wifey. I'm gonna put 1 cup of rice and 2 gallons of milk. Oh, I mean water. I put water in the milk jug here. Ha 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 ha. Two glasses of milk. Bet I had y'all go in there for a minute. That's 2 cups of milk right there. Get it up here. These eyes don't get but so hot on this stove from out the camper. I mean, some of y'all heard me talking about it a while back. I'm wondering, I got a regulator over at the tank. I wonder if I take the regulator from off of here and just run the cable straight to there and only have that one regulator at the tank, if that would help it get hotter under there. Because I mean, it get hot enough to cook rice and stuff, but it don't get hot enough to like I was cooking chicken and deer meat over there, I could get it way hot like I wanted it. You don't want it too hot, but there's a certain temperature I like to cook at. I don't know if that would help if I remove that regulator, or it may not hook straight on, I don't know. But if some of y'all know, just let me know. But I got to get here and get my rice, my salt and my pepper. Well, I don't need the pepper for this rice, but anyhow, I go ahead and put my salt in there. Salty up the rice. And I'll let it cook till it comes to a boil there, and then we'll be ready to put the lid on her. Anyhow, while I'm out here cooking, got this last pan of deer meat here cooking. I was thinking about my great uncle. Great uncle used to haul the tobacco to the market every year with the mule and wagon. He always wore the old work clothes and all that, and he was used to wearing them all the time, and very seldom would he get him a new set of clothes. Well, one year he took one of the wagon loads of tobacco into town, and while he was there, he said, you know, I think I'll just stop and at the store and get me a new set of clothes and some shoes while I'm here, new shoes. Them penny loafers are what they came out in, which you could take the penny and put in the top of them if you really want it to be fancy. And surprise Aunt Martha when I get home. Anyhow, he stopped off at the store there, got him a new set of clothes, and started home. And he was crossing the creek there with the mule and wagon, and he said, well, I think I'll just stop here and get me a bath in the creek and go on home and surprise Aunt Martha. So he got out there in the creek and was out there in the creek and washing, and as he would take off a shirt and his overalls and stuff, they would wore out and had holes in them, he would just throw them off in the creek and let them wash on down the creek. And as he was washing them, letting them float down the creek, a limb fell out the tree and scared the old mule that was up there hooked to the wagon with his clothes in them. And the mule ran off with the buggy and wagon and everything, and there was his other clothes, his underwear and everything he done threw off and had done floated down the creek. he stood there, and as he watched the old mule running off down the road, he thought for a minute. He said, well, I guess I'll just walk on home and really surprise Aunt Martha. I'll bet Junior's in the kitchen, cooking fried chicken, wishing I would just come home. Well, I've checked all the orifices and everything on this old stove, and lines are clean, but it ain't that, so got to be something to do with the regulator. But anyhow, my rice has come to a boil, and I'm going to cover it with the lid and turn it down on low and let her simmer there for 15 minutes on low. In the meantime, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to borrow a little bit of oil from the wifey and come on back and see if I can make the brown gravy. But anyhow, y'all hang on. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down and cover it with a lid. In about 15 minutes, that should be done. And come back and start making the gravy. Alright, got the rice over there pretty much cooked. Start pouring in some flour here on this little bit of grease. I just put enough in there to cover the bottom of the pan. I might have put too much grease. I'll have some thick gravy. Didn't look like that much grease when I put her in there. Anyhow, get enough flour in there to cover it. I might have added too much flour. Oh no. Let me get a little bit more grease here to put in there. Alright, I added just a touch more grease in there. I thought I had too much grease to start with. It only takes a dab of grease, not much, just enough to oil the bottom of the pan. I gotta see if I can turn this fire down lower. You ain't wanting to stir this grease and flour. You ain't want it to cook too fast. Make sure you get all your flour mushed up in there. This is probably going to be a thick gravy because I had to put too much flour to match the grease. And you don't want too much grease, you want very little grease. But I had a little too much, because you get too much, it'll give you the bellyache. Anyhow, we can stir this for a minute and we'll be right back. Anyhow, YouTube, I got a little bit more grease in there to start with than what I like. But the thing brown gravy, you have to keep stirring it, and you have to stand there with it. Keep it going, keep it stirring. You want white gravy, don't stir it so much. If you ain't wanting to cook it on high, or you could burn it before it gets ready. Like I'm almost to burn this one. But now, you got to be here with the water. Add it quick and don't hold your hand over this pan. This is why I don't use cast iron either. Got steam that's gonna come up off of it. And you got to keep stirring it. It's gonna burn to the bottom. Now that I got the gravy unstuck from under the bottom, add a little bit more water here. Now that it's cooled off, turn it back up on high. I want to add some salt while I'm waiting on it to come back to a boil. I'm going to want it to boil back on high. Add some black pepper. If you want to, you can add some red pepper in there to give it a kick. Or if you want onion gravy, you can add some onion in there to give it the oniony flavor. But you want to bring it back to a boil on high and let it boil for a little while. And that's going to loosen that flour back up and start to thicken it. One thing I want you to see, like this spoon, that flour is stuck to that spoon once I poured that water in there. But as I stir it and it gets hot and starts to boil, it'll loosen up all that flour that's in there, and then it will start to get thicker and make the gravy, and that will come off of that spoon. Now it looks like my gravy could be a little thick, but what else I want to show you, a lot of times these spoons, some spoons is built a certain way, but a lot of time what that lip is built for, instead of laying it over the pan like this, you can pull it up to the side of that pan and let it sit like that. And when you need it, it ain't got the handle hot. So you just put it there and let it sit there. That's on some spoons, but let the gravy cook a minute. And I know I'm gonna have to add a little bit more water because it's getting real thick now that it started to boil. Anyhow, YouTube, if your gravy gets too thick, just add more water. If it's too thin, just boil it for a while and it'll boil the water back out of it and get down as thick as you want it. The biggest part is when you cooking, hitting the grease, is not to burn it. That's the hardest part. Out of all the cooking I did today, brown gravy is the hardest thing there is to cook. But we fixing to fix our plate here with the rice. Sorry that this video was so long, but when you're cooking, if you're going to explain everything and try to do it right, then it takes a while. And look like the wifey would have sent me out here with some of her best pots and pans to cook with instead of sending me out here with some of the ones she did. But you know how that is. Anyhow, that's the rice and gravy there. But cooking that takes me back to when I was a young fella in my teens, or I was young and we'd be out there hunting or looking for rabbits. Our cousin would be up there cooking. He'd have the old Coleman stove up there. Heating it up, waiting to cook some rabbit and brown gravy, smothering brown gravy and all that. But we got the chicken there, the venison. But that's going to be our meal for the night. And sorry I strung the gravy right there, but hope y'all can still see it getting late in the evening and we got to eat, so I'm gonna go ahead and call the wifey or take it in. The mosquitoes get out here at night. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching the videos. Couldn't get out and do no fishing, but I decided to do something on the outside and try to bring you something. Anyhow, thanks for watching.